What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be joined by Tristan from the Porch Man Podcast, and we're going to be reviewing the 1989 movie, Batman. So, in this movie, Batman must face his ruthless nemesis, the Joker, when he seizes control of Gotham City's criminal underworld. So before I get into my part, I'm going to let Tristan do his part, as I always do with my guests, so take it away, Tristan.
Hey, what's up guys, the Porch Man here. Thank you, Ogre1992, for letting me on this collab. Batman, starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson. This movie has an incredible score. Danny Elfman can do a great score for this. He did a great job with the soundtrack. The iconic Batman 89 theme that we all love. I think the soundtrack for this film was quite good. All the music is done well for this and orchestrated well for this film, which I think is great. Michael Keaton does an incredible job as Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is a really big move for Michael Keaton. That and Beetlejuice were two of his hugest big films. And this film, Batman did really change a lot. This was the first big superhero film, so it could have either been a flop or a big success like it was. So everybody took a gigantic risk with this film, because this is like the real big start for a darker superhero movie. Batman was. And I think Jack Nicholson as the Joker is probably my favorite Batman villain, to be honest. Jack Nicholson was perfect as the Joker. He was crazy, the makeup and the smile. Probably, I think the best comic accurate Joker was Jack Nicholson's, I thought. With the purple fedora, it was so iconic. And, oh man, if I heard a quote was, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" That was a damn good quote. It was amazing. I love this first Batman movie. It's just a whole lot of fun, and Tim Burton brings a lot of... Batman Returns is a little bit different, but this first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, Tim Burton had some certain qualities he wanted to put in this film, and although he wasn't have all the things he wanted in here, I thought this was a pretty good superhero movie for him, having a huge part in this. And I think Batman is a great superhero movie. Definitely one of the most iconic movies of the 80s and the iconic superhero movies of all time. So overall, Batman 89, I liked quite a bit. Very iconic. So thank you, brother, for letting me on this collab with you. And I will see y'all later. Take care.
Thank you, Tristan. It was great to have you on here. I always enjoy collabing with you and everything. And be sure to check out his channel, the Porch Man Podcast. I put a link to it in the description. And everything. He's got a pretty good channel on there and everything. So be sure to check him out. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my part. Now, I've always really enjoyed this movie. I think that it's really entertaining, and it's got some awesome sets and cast and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into this. I love the atmosphere and everything. I think Tim Burton really knew how to bring that gritty, grimy feel to the Batman series and stuff and everything. And his vision and stuff just works really good for this world and everything. And I loved how this version of Gotham is. It feels lived in and real and everything, and a lot of that comes down to the practical sets and stuff that look amazing in this movie and everything. They did a really great job building out Gotham and bringing it to life and everything. Michael Keaton is amazing as Bruce Wayne and Batman. He's one of the absolute best castings of the character. To many people, he is the definitive Batman, and I can't understand that for sure. I do think that he's absolutely great in here, and I can completely get why anybody would say he's the best Batman and best Bruce Wayne and stuff. Although I personally don't feel like he's the best, he is definitely one of them. And Jack Nicholson is absolutely great as the Joker. He's one of my favorite versions of the Joker, but I kind of say that about all the versions because I think each version is good and unique in their own way, except for maybe Jared Leto, who I think is just okay. But I think Jack Nicholson is really good in this movie. He's over the top fun and everything, but he's a blast to watch. And I will say that this movie should have just been called The Joker because it is more his movie than it is Batman's. You see his backstory first, and you see most of the movie through the Joker's point of view and stuff. So this movie technically could have been called the Joker instead of Batman and everything. But I do love Jack Nicholson. I think that that's one of the reasons why the Joker gets so much spotlight, as Jack Nicholson was a big household name when this movie came out. And Michael Keaton was still becoming famous and everything. But I personally do feel like both of them are great in this movie, and they balance it out pretty well, but the Joker gets most of the spotlight and everything, but he's good enough to help carry the movie, and it wouldn't work without either one of them, though. They're both great as their characters. I love the practical sets and everything. Like I said, it just looks amazing and everything. The Batmobile is awesome. I think this movie has the absolute best version of the Batmobile. It just looks so cool and everything. And I like the one in Batman Forever as well, but I think it looks the best in this movie and everything. It's just really cool. I used to have a toy of the Batmobile from this movie that was one of my favorite toys growing up and everything. I've always thought that it looked good, and I'm not really one that gets into cars and stuff very much. Even in movies, I'm just not a big car person. I don't hate cars or anything. I'm just not really into them. But I love the design of the Batmobile, and if I had to own any movie cars, this is definitely one of the ones that I would want to own. And everything. And the cinematography is really great. It really helps with the vibe of the movie and the tone and stuff, and it helps with the way Gotham City feels grimy and stuff. So the cinematography is really, really good in this movie, and I think Tim Burton's directing is great too. He's always pretty good at directing, and this is one of his best works as a director. Although I feel like his directing on Batman Returns was even better, which I'll talk about that next week. But yeah, this has some really, really good stuff in here. And Danny Elfman's score is amazing. He's really, really great at doing superhero scores. I don't know if I'd say I like it quite as much as his work on Spider-Man and stuff, just because Spider-Man 1 and 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time, and they're my favorite superhero movies of all time. Everything is, in a lot of ways, I do say his score for those are better, but I can't deny that his score for this movie is absolute fire and everything, and I absolutely love it. As far as negatives go, I don't really care for Vicky Vale, who is Bruce's love interest and the one that becomes the damsel in distress at the end of it and everything. I think they could have left her out of the story, and it would have mostly been the same and stuff. He just would have had to face the Joker without having to save her. She just isn't one of my favorite characters. I've never really cared for any of the love interests in the Batman movies. They're just the least interesting part of the stories for me. I feel like there was enough going on with Batman and the Joker that we didn't really need a love interest side story and everything. And I do think it gets slow at times and everything. This is one of the slower Batman movies and everything, so it's not one that I like to revisit as much as some of the other ones. It's not as intense and entertaining as some of the other movies in the Batman franchise, but I do think it's pretty good. And I do think the action could have been a little bit better and stuff. We get some good action, but I think a lot of the other Batman movies have better action as well and everything. So all in all, while this isn't the best Batman movie or one of my most favorite superhero movies of all time. I've always appreciated this movie, and I have a lot of respect for what it did for the superhero genre and everything. Superman from '78 is credited as the first really big superhero movie, but this is a movie that really kind of started putting them on the map and led into what we get nowadays and stuff. So this movie was kind of ahead of its time and everything, and it's still a very influential piece of comic book movie history, so I gotta respect it for that and everything. So I'm gonna go as far to say that I give Batman 1989 a 8 out of 10. I really enjoy it. I think it's a good, solid movie. It's not one of my most favorite Batman movies or anything, but I really enjoy it and think that it is pretty good and stuff. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Batman from 1989. And thank you, Tristan, for joining me. It was great to have you on here. Be sure to check out his channel. Like I said, the link is in the description and everything. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.